In today's video, we're gonna take off the AC blower motor, which is on the passenger side. The glove box does not need to come off to replace the motor. If you go under the glove box, you can see the motor right here. It's on the right side. The first thing I'm gonna take off is this hose. It's connect from the motor to the blower case. Next, I'm going to take off this screw, which is holding the connector harness to the blower case. It should come off just like this. You could see the connector right here. I'm going to use a screwdriver to push on the side tab while pulling down the connector. And now I'm going to focus on taking off the back screw right here. This is the hardest one to take off out of the 3 screws holding the motor onto the housing. The manual asks for a plate type ratchet driver that looks like this to take off the 3 screws. And this tool is pretty much just a bit with a low profile ratchet, and you will fit the bit into the ratchet just like this. And this is a pretty simple tool. Just like a regular ratchet, it will turn in one direction and it will make a click just like this. And if you flip this switch, it will turn the other direction. But not everybody will have the needed tool, so I'll go through my tool bags to see what I have. The first tool I'm going to use is a short fillet head screwdriver. And as you can see, I can't reach the screw with it. And the next tool I'm going to use is an offset screwdriver with a fillet head on both sides. As you can see, I'm able to reach the screw with this tool, but I don't have a lot of room. This tool, in my opinion, is good for loosening up the screw. Let's check the other side to see if there's any room for this tool. And this tool is also a no-go. The next tool on the list is a fillet head bit with a U-joint and a extender. This combination for the tool will actually reach the screw. And as you can see, I'm able to turn the screw with this tool. There is probably something better in my bag. So let's go check out the next tool. And the last tool I'm going to use composed of a fillet bit, a extender, and a ratchet screwdriver. I found the screwdriver worked pretty well for this screw. Just little by little, the screw is coming out. Now that it's out enough, I'm going to take it off by hand. And there goes the back screw. The other 2 screws should be easily taken off with a fillet head screwdriver. There you go, the second one. Once this last screw is taken off, the motor should drop out from the housing. It's kind of weird. The motor is not even dropping at all. My guess is the motor is stuck to the housing. Let's give it a wiggle to see if it dropped. It really is stuck. I'm gonna pry it now to see if it works. There you go. The brand name of the new motor is called Four Season. The part number is 76909. When compared to the old one, it's the same size as the new one, except for this connector is sticking out. And now I'm going to flip it over to compare the fan. The fan looks slightly different, but it will still do the same job. Pretty much everything's going to be reassembled in the reverse order. And make sure this right here is facing the correct direction, because there's a tube to connect here to here. And there's a plastic peg right here on the housing to align the motor. And while holding the motor with one hand, I'm going to attempt to put in the first screw. And the first screw doesn't need to go all the way in, it just needs to hold the motor. And here goes the second screw. And now first I'm going to tighten the two front screws before I work on the back one. Because the housing is plastic, you just have to get it nice and snug. And there you go, the first one. And let's get started on the second one. And there goes the second one, nice and snug. And this back screw is just as difficult to put back on, like taking it off. And I'm almost done. Now I'm going to check it by hand to see if it's any good. As you can see, there's a little play, but the motor doesn't wobble, so I should be good. Don't forget to plug in this tube, it helps keeps the motor cool. The both ends should be snugly fit in. And then plug in the power connector. And the connector will only fit in one direction. And don't forget to screw the harness back onto the housing. And that should be good. One last thing to do is test the motor to see if it's working. And you don't need to start the car, you just need to have the key turn with the engine off. And the moment of truth. And it's working, job well done. Click that like button if you found this video useful. Subscribe for future updates. And again, thanks for watching.